Welcome to the Shootin The Que podcast presented by Heath Riles BBQ with tips, tricks, and an inside look at some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to the Shootin The Que podcast. Of course, I'm joined with my lovely wife, Candace. How are you doing today, honey?
I'm good.
And our good friend, Bob Trudnak. How are you doing today,
Wow,
sir?
you said it perfectly.
Trud like stud.
It only took you 13 years to figure it out.
No,
wondering
not
if you were
13
going to
years.
say it at all,
Maybe 12.
or if we were going to go down that road again.
I just wanted to properly say it and not call him Turdnak. Okay?
Thank you.
But
Thank
you-
you for not.
Trudnak.
Thank you for not. Oh, wait, you just did say that.
I was
out
about
loud.
to say you just did it anyways.
I said for not calling you that.
But anyway, I love your new studio.
Well, we're still pushing stuff around. As you know, we just
Or
got these cheers in
different
today.
again.
And,
Yep, feel
and
good.
getting everything going. But we're trying to make things a little more sociable to have some more down home felt conversations, right?
Yeah.
And so with you being back in the studio today, passing through town, we've had several podcasts together. I really want to talk to you more in depth about pizza and things like that.
Let's do it.
So, you know, just for all the viewers out there that don't know you, can you kind of tell everybody kind of who you are and what you do and
Yeah, sure.
all that kind of stuff in this crazy barbecue world?
I know. There's a long list. I mean, I could talk forever about it, but in a nutshell, I got into the barbecue business when I was 30 years old. I'm 54 right now, so I've been in there quite a while. Started with the Barbecue Guru Company. Met an inventor, and we started that company. I kind of made my way up the ladder as a marketing director and then a vice president and helping with manufacturing and research and development on barbecue equipment. But while I was doing that, kind of behind the scenes in the background, I was developing sauces and spices and start competing. Had a team or a company team. We did very well. Got to travel the world doing it. And when I parted ways with that company 3 years ago or so, I really put a lot of time and effort into my own brand of barbecue products, but also start developing the pizza products. And the Italian line is really where I grew up, my heart and soul, right? Because I grew up in a big Italian family, Italian Lebanese, and it's just a lot of family style cooking. And I learned to cook at a young age, and to be able to share not only the barbecue stuff but the pizza stuff with everyone and make it easy for people to cook great food with wonderful flavors. That means a lot to me. So that's where I'm trying to focus right now.
Well, you brought up a very good thing about that. You make an incredible pizza dough. Mm-hmm. Well, you call it the perfect pizza dough. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed, and I'm going to kind of call you out here on the podcast, ask you, well, Bob, I love Neapolitan-style pizza, but how do you make, I love New York-style pizza too,
Sure.
and I love deep dish, and I love this. Mm-hmm. And so do you need to develop a dough for that? And what did you tell me?
Well, what I said was the perfect pizza dough is the perfect pizza dough. You can tweak that dough.
That's right.
To make the styles you want. And it's not to say that, if a company has 5 different pizza dough styles packaged, that's wrong. That's good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But if you look at New York-style pizza dough recipes, if you look at Detroit-style pizza dough recipes, if you look at Sicilian, Neapolitan, they're just little tweaks that you do to change that up. So it's the flours you use. Well, I have multiple flours and yeast in my packaged dough. So you can do those styles. You can do focaccia. You can do strombolis. You're just tweaking with hydration. So the more or less water you put in your dough, that's your hydration, right? So there's different hydration levels, 65% hydration, 80% hydration. So you can make adjustments that way. You just got to do a little research. And if you watch my videos, I can teach you all that. You can add things like honey or sugar for sweetness. You can add olive oil to give you those more like New York style doughs. But the way the instructions are on the package is just add water. 8 ounces of water per pack. If you're doing 4 packs, then it's 32 ounces, and it comes out fantastic.
Well, you try to keep it more for the general user,
right? I'm trying to keep it easy.
Trying to really get specialized.
Yes, correct.
So why do you feel like people should take that extra step and use a homemade dough versus just grabbing one at the store? What's the difference to you?
Well, I think it's just the quality. There's a lot of packaged crusts that are out there.
Right.
That are okay, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want, it's like when you're cooking barbecue, you can go buy, a rack of ribs from the dollar store, or you can go get a nice rack of ribs. You can go get a good brisket. You can go get some good quality chicken, and you're going to have a better food experience. So when you make your own dough, yes, there's a little bit of work to it, and it takes a little time. But when you're eating that pizza, you're really going to know. You're going to enjoy it more, and you're going to say, I did this, And it's fun if, you're doing it with your kids. Get your kids involved.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with this about the pizza dough. If you have a KitchenAid mixer with a dough attachment, you just dump the water and the dough in there and turn it on. What did you tell me, 5 minutes flat?
That's it, 5 minutes.
That's it. Just set a timer. Set your Alexa, if you're one of these people, and roll with it. And you've got a perfectly 2 dough balls to cut in half and roll out.
Exactly.
And you've got 2 pizzas there off 1 pack.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot easier. I do a lot of by hand work, but you don't need to do that. So we'll play around with some KitchenAid dough mixers this weekend or this week, and show you how easy it really is.
Yeah, that would be easy because I think a lot of people coming home from a hard day at work, they're not probably going to spend the time to make that pizza dough right then and there. That's a weekend thing, or that's some people's going to prepare the day before, but like us, we go home and our mood changes from day to day. We say we might going to eat salmon tonight, and maybe we had fish at lunch or something, and we change that to something else, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where it changes a little bit, roasted pizza, but putting in a little more planning really comes in detail with that.
And listen, you know how you meal prep on Sunday? Some people meal prep on Sundays.
Right.
You could actually make your dough and then take all your dough and batch ferment it. So instead of making it to dough balls right there, I can do 2 or 3 packs of pizza dough, form one big ball, throw it in a covered container in the fridge, and put it out either Monday night, pull it out Tuesday night. You can ferment this stuff for
so how many days?
24, 48, even 72 hours. So I think you have up to 3 days
to use it.
I would probably keep this particular dough to 2 days, so 48 hours. So if you want to make it on Sunday and make your pizzas on Tuesday, that's okay.
It'd be a lot better just come home for a pizza oven or the oven.
Exactly.
Or whatever you want to do.
Get your dough out of the refrigerator, let it proof on the kitchen counter, and then you're making pizzas a few hours later.
Well, we were talking about that. We just done that video together. You were down a while back, and we just released this video, Cooking with Friends, where we done was it a margarita-style pizza in a Yeti cast iron pan?
Yep.
And done the deep dish. And I honestly thought we done a lot of different pizzas that day.
Right.
But that in the cast iron skillet, to me, the crunch was a little bit better, I think, that it picked up off of that cast iron.
Absolutely.
Instead of a brick floor.
Sure. But you still could get a nice, crispy, crunchy pizza dough. So if you make it thinner, if you actually make your pizza thinner, cook it at a hotter temperature, then you're going to get that crisp to it. So when I'm working on a brick floor, I'm trying to get that floor between 750, 775 degrees on the floor. Use an infrared heat gun. And then your air temperature on your dial, that's going to be in somewhere around 850 to 900 degrees. Whether you're working off a wood oven or a propane oven or even a pellet oven, that's kind of the things you're reaching for. You're reaching for those temperatures.
So you just mentioned, kind of switching gears here, talking about cookers. Do you have a preference when it comes to a wood-fired oven, a gas oven, or anything like that when it comes to a pizza oven inside? Because now there's pellet grill pizza ovens out there, cooking on a flat top like we did. You can cook on a pellet grill, regular grill oven. Do you have a similar style?
So I've cooked on all those. I've cooked on pellet grill. I've cooked on electric. I've cooked on propane, wood. At the end of the day, you can make a great pizza on any of those, but I like playing with fire. I'm a barbecue guy, right? So I would rather, personally, light a wood fire, get the coals going, get my temperatures down, and then start making pizzas on that live fire. Throwing a stick in every once in a while. I just enjoy that. It's an experience. It's more than just cooking. You're playing with live fire, and I love doing that.
That's
I
right.
think that depends on people and
So
how
that
much
depends on
time
the
they
person.
have too, and how much time they're willing to spend on
Right. Now-
doing it.
Now, the other thing is, if it's a last minute thing, and hey, let's throw something in the pizza oven,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on the propane pizza oven and wait 35 minutes, and it's going to be up to temperature, and
Yeah.
then we're cooking.
So besides pizza, what else would you say is your top 3 go-tos to cook in a pizza oven?
So I use a lot of cast iron pans, like I know you do, and I love cooking wings and chicken in cast iron in the pizza oven at high temp. And you could smoke the chicken first and then bring it over to the cast iron and finish it. But you can also lower your temperature in your pizza oven. You don't have to cook at 800. You can cook at 400, 500, which is still hot, and come up with some delicious dishes, and it renders that skin so well. Like just crispy bite-through chicken skin on wings, on chicken thighs. So good. So I love the chicken and the wing. I love making dips. I'll try to do like some Mediterranean style food, fish, whole fish, with a lot of like fresh sauces and chopped peppers and onions and garlic and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like when I cook in cast iron, to me, it's more of a show. You're creating this beautiful dish in the cast iron, and when you pull it out of the oven and show your guests, they're like blown away by it.
So what fish do you prefer?
I love cooking red snapper. I love cooking tuna.
So tell me a little bit about the red snapper. You roast it a little bit slower?
So what I'll do is instead of having a super hot 800-degree fire, I'll let it get down to coals, and I'll run it at like 450 or 500 degrees, and I'll get olive oil on it, and you can put some lemon halves in there and let them roast, and that skin will get crispy, and that fish will cook pretty quick. Say it's, I don't know, at 450, 500 degrees, maybe that whole fish is done in 12 to 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fast. And then I'll start to dip on my like fresh sauces and, seasoned oils and all that stuff, and finish it, put it back in, let it get some color, let it cook a little bit, and then bring it out and serve it.
What's the biggest difference in store-bought pizza dough, like we were just talking about, versus you making it homemade?
I guess just consistency. You don't know if you buy a dough in a store, you don't know what hydration it is. If you buy a, pre-packaged crust in a store, you don't really know how it's going to react to the different styles of pizza making.
Remember that time I bought the gluten-free kind?
If you buy gluten-free pizza dough,
I didn't mean to. That's all they
I know.
had.
I know. See, I don't know. You just can't work gluten-free pizza dough. There's no like
Gluten.
buoyancy to it. There's no gluten in it. Pizza dough's gluten. It's all about gluten.
She tried to bring you something to make some flatbread out of. Is that what you're
So
trying to say?
let's back up. So you were coming in town. You wanted to make pizzas at Memphis in May.
Yeah.
But at the time, I believe you were still working on getting your dough how you wanted to get it. So
Yeah, I was actually rebranding, I think.
well, and so I think the time you got in versus when you wanted to make the pizzas, there wasn't enough time to make the dough.
Correct.
Or something like that. So I
Yes.
said, well, I'll go and buy some.
Yeah.
And they were out of what I would have normally bought, and all
Right.
they had was gluten-free.
Yeah.
And so that's what
So
I
I
got. And
proved-
we
I-
did not get any
I
pizza
know.
that year.
Well,
I
I
don't
proofed
think.
it, and it was like, that kid's play sand where it just kind of falls apart in your hands. That's what it felt like. It was. There was no forming a dough ball or a pizza out of that.
Well, we're definitely going to make sure we get it right at Memphis in May this year for pizza dough and all
Well,
that.
I'm bringing Bobby T's. I'll bring plenty with me.
Well, so on that note, what are some mistakes that you feel like common mistakes that people make when they're trying to make their own pizza dough?
It's a good question. There's a few. I mean, when you're cooking pizza, it's your surface temperature of either the stone or the pan you're working with versus air temperature. So you're trying to get the bottom of the pizza, the crust, the undercarriage, to cook perfectly along and time that with your toppings and your cheese melting. So if you have too hot of a stone or a pan underneath, you're going to burn it before your toppings are melted.
Yeah,
and
that
cooked.
makes sense.
And if you have too much, over like air temperature and not enough heat on the stone, then everything's going to burn on top and your crust isn't going to be done properly. So it's that balance. Now, if you're cooking on a pizza stone in your kitchen oven at 550 degrees for 15, 20 minutes, it's going to come out nice.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to cook on all these different styles, whether you're cooking on a grill or on a cast iron or a flat top, it's all about just practicing, just like you would practice any other cuisine.
Yeah.
And, get it down to where you like it and make it how you enjoy it.
So something that I've never asked you, what is your favorite style of pizza?
That's like asking me which kid is my favorite. I mean, I'm not going to tell you. I love it all.
So you do have a favorite, though?
No, I don't.
He said, I'm not going to tell you.
No, they're both amazing. They're both amazing.
Well, I'm going to take a turn in the road here. I'm kind of sliding down in the chair here. How do you feel about Dave Portnoy, El Perez, about how he scores pizza shops and what he does in the pizza community?
You're on the spot here.
I am putting you on the spot.
Well,
Because and I'll tell you why I asked that. I do see a lot of credibility that he gives pizza places. I'm not going to say I agree with everything that he does.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think he has really put a spotlight on pizza.
Oh, he absolutely has. And what he's doing for pizza places is amazing, and pizza in general.
I thought that
is amazing.
What he done by giving that guy, what was it, $60,000 to stay open?
Yeah.
During the holidays.
He's doing great stuff.
He's I respect him. He's a hell of a businessman.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. First of all, I love what he's doing. I think he's great. He does judge that crispy New York style pizza. He's tried different pizzas, and he may or may not like them. But I was making a Neapolitan pizza from Naples, Italy, is a softer dough. They eat it with a fork and a knife.
A lot of flop, right?
There's a flop. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's more bready. So I was making those style pizzas early on and posting them. And when I picked it up, you kind of pinch the back, right? And you can
fold it.
You fold it. And then you can actually flip the tip over and eat it like that. And it's just a way of eating that style pizza. And man, I got crushed. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people told me I don't know how to make pizza. And, it's not crispy. And
you being an Italian and growing up like that.
And then I just knew they just didn't understand that style. And whatever, it is what it is. It probably got more views and likes than any other of my videos. So there was something good that came out of it. But yeah, he likes a certain style. He judges it on that style.
Yeah.
And he's good for the pizza industry and for pizza places. But I just get in moods for different style pizzas. I love Detroit style. I love Sicilian when it's done right. Where I grew up in the Scranton area, there's a style called Old Forge pizza. It's a very light, airy, but crispy undercarriage. Olive oily. There's no char to it. They're made in pizza ovens, just like stone ovens. No flame. And they use a blend of like American Cooper Sharp and a little bit of mozzarella and a little bit of cheddar. And the sauce is kind of oniony a little bit, and it's delicious. They're very cheesy. And they'll put shaved hot sausage on it. So a lot of them will take sausage and just shave it paper thin and load up the pizza with it, and it curls and gets real crispy. I love that style, but it's so unique. It's unique to any other style pizza.
That sounds...
It's really good.
I know that he's a huge fan of New Haven style pizza.
Oh yeah,
is that right? And that's cracker, really thin bar style crust.
Yeah, I guess you would call it in between New York and bar style.
So do you like the bar style pies?
Yeah, I do.
Some of the best bar style pie, you may not remember where I'm talking about. You remember we went to that bar with your parents way back when called Hell and Back in Florida?
Yeah.
I've been to Hell and Back.
It was a bar called Hell and Back.
It's not there anymore.
You could go on boat and
I don't
all that.
know.
I don't think it is there anymore.
I think it closed.
But at one time,
they did have good pizza.
They had really good pizza, and it was like they had really good beer specials because I remember. It
was kind of like a military type bar too. Like, anybody could go there, but a lot of the military guys hung out there. So they did a lot of specials because they had a lot of military guys in and out every night.
The best I can remember, it was a huge to-go pizza business. People coming in to pick up
think it
pizzas
was
while we were
both.
drinking. Yeah. I mean, but the pizza was great there is where I'm going with that. I still remember that from 10 or 12 years ago when we went there.
Yeah. Well, in Connecticut has the clam pie. Did you ever hear the clam pie?
No.
Okay, so it's a white pizza.
weird.
There's no sauce on it. It's olive oil and either like Parmesan or Romano cheese and a lot of garlic
And clam.
and clams. So they'll take fresh clams because clams are, very popular up on the East Coast area. And they'll chop the clams. And you can kind of pat them dry a little bit. And you get them all over the pizza with the garlic and the
that'd be
Parmesan.
good.
It's delicious. It's very thin, very crispy. And like I need to do a video on it.
Me personally, I can't eat a lot of Chicago deep dish pizzas. Like we've been up to Chicago and if you get 2 pieces down, you have really accomplished something. I mean, really, and for me, my favorite one, believe it or not, was the barbecue chicken pizza. I think yours too, right? Mm-hmm. And they use Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Did they really?
Yes. I could have done with a little less sauce on it. It was really saucy. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, flavor-wise and the way the crust, and it had no flop to be a deep dish. It was,
right.
I mean, pretty cool. But I am more of a New York style
I'm not a fan
man
of deep
myself.
dish.
And I like Neapolitan-style pizza, too.
Yeah.
How
about good Detroit, though? It's a little thicker, but it's...
So that's what else I was going to say. There's a place that opened up not far from us, and it's called Rotella. Is that right?
Something. I think that's right.
And they
It's a
do
chain.
Detroit-style pizza, and they do other styles, too. But kind of known for their Detroit style. And they do like some pepperoni and cheese around the edges, and they have some with hot honey on them and things like that, like a hot honey pepperoni, with pipe ricotta cheese.
Yes.
So are you a fan of the whole pipe ricotta?
Absolutely.
Or whipped ricotta and all that?
Yes, 1,000%.
I really, really like that pizza, even though it's really thick, right?
Yeah.
That with the ricotta, but I love ricotta cheese and all that.
Yeah, me too.
I hardly will eat lasagna unless it has ricotta in it.
Yeah.
I ask at restaurants.
He does.
If I want the lasagna and they don't have ricotta cheese
before
in it,
he
I'm
ever
like,
orders
never
it.
mind.
Yeah, I
He
love
asks.
it. I love it. We
Give me
just
the
did
chicken
one.
parm.
I was teaching a class in Atlanta, and someone whipped up some ricotta and a little bit of Locatelli Romano, a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, and just kind of piped it on the pizza. And we popped it in the pizza oven with some like crispy breaded mushrooms. It was really good.
I bet.
I had, I've told Heath, and I can't think of the name. I had to text my friend before about the name, but there's a place in Austin, Texas that does like the piped ricotta. And remember me talking about it? And then we, when we were in Las Vegas not too long ago, actually ran into some people from that area and got to talking, and they knew exactly what I was talking about, which pizza. Like apparently it's very popular because it's very good, and I can't even think of the name of it now, but.
Have you had pizza around St. Louis and had the St. Elmo's, or not St. Elmo's pizza? What is it up there? They do the different kind of cheese on it. The what?
St. Louis?
Yeah, up in St. Louis, it's the pies that are very well known up that way, and they use a certain type of cheese.
Well, I know the Detroit.
I'm probably going to get stoned here for not
the
knowing
Detroit
that.
style uses a brick cheese.
No, this is another style. I'm
Um,
gonna have to do some Googling.
yeah, I'm not really familiar with St. Louis style pizza. I've
It's
seen
not St.
Domino's.
Elmo's. I said that wrong. Elmo's Pizza, maybe, or it starts with an E.
I have no idea.
We're gonna get a fact checker over here, like Joe. Rogan
Yeah,
has.
maybe if you said it, I'd know
the
it, but I
corner.
have no idea.
You need to get an Alexa or a Siri so we can just ask and see what the answer is, I guess. Well, while he's Googling that, I'll ask, who introduced you to the art of making homemade pizza?
My grandmother.
Your grandmother?
Yeah.
So it was a family tradition.
My mom's mother. Yeah, because, the church we went to was across the street and down 2 houses on the corner of the block. I had like 4 great aunts and uncles that lived in a square block. And then I lived across the street from my grandparents. So, and I was there till I was like 6. So I was a little kid. My grandmother would put on a feast for everybody after church on Sunday. So mass was at 11. At 11:40, before church was over, people start trickling out, trying to get over to my grandmother's for food. And I would kind of like fake sick to stay back, but I really just wanted to help her cook. And she would pull that chair up to the counter for me and make homemade pizza sauce, dough, pastas, meatball, everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then people just trickle in. Could have been 15 people or 55 people roll through her door in a couple hours.
So do you remember the first time that you tried making dough on your own without your grandmother? Were you able to do it, or was it something that she was just kind of always, I mean, clearly you're able to do it now,
yeah,
but
so
was
I
it
think
like a learning process?
I think I just followed a recipe to the T and made it, and it was okay, and I made mistakes. And,
yeah.
just like anything else. But, I mean, I've always been a make-your-own kind of person for years, even before I got into this industry. I used to make my own mustards, hot sauces, barbecue sauces, seasonings, wine, beer.
Well, I've been to your house and
cordials.
seen all that. I mean, I've seen you make beer and wine, and I've seen your herb gardens and all your stuff you have. And I've seen all that. I mean, I haven't tried any of this such
wine.
a long time coming up to your house. We filmed Barbecue Guru videos together years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was many years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying this right. Emo's Pizza. Hey.
Elmo?
IMO.
Apostrophe S. It's made with Prevail cheese.
Oh.
Cracker-like thin crust.
Okay.
I've never heard of it. I don't know.
No.
But I've never tasted this wine that you speak of.
I mean, there's still a few bottles in my basement, but it probably tastes like vinegar at this point.
Well, they say it's thin cracker-like crust. I know a lot of people's talked about it. I used to hear, what was the guy in Florida that cooked barbecue? He wanted to move a pizza place like that into Florida. Kenny,
Nadu?
yes, Kenny Nadu.
Oh, okay.
He moved that kind of pizza.
I may have said his last name incorrectly.
But yes, you're exactly right. That's where that whole come from. It just makes me think about it. I never
Yeah, I
had
don't know.
it,
That's
but I've
something
seen the signs.
I need to explore that because I don't know really much about it.
I know. I'd like to explore it and eat it myself.
I'll be making an Easter pizza here soon. It's like, I think more of an Italian thing. That's my family tradition. It's a stuffed pizza almost.
So
there's a few ways to do it.
I was actually fixing to go into something else, but you just made some other questions pop in my head. So you being Italian and you said Lebanese and different like that, what traditions do you guys have on the holidays, the major holidays, versus what a traditional American like us would
Redneck
eat?
has.
A redneck has. You know, we eat chicken and
Yeah.
we eat
I mean,
dressing and a turkey and
We
a
don't,
ham.
we don't
and
They do-
shoot guns Christmas
They
morning.
do stuffing.
I don't shoot
They
guns
don't do
Christmas morning unless something
dressing.
walks out in the yard.
That's true. If I had that property,
And I
I'd be
will
shooting-
shoot it off the front porch. I'm not scared to.
I don't know. I mean, we incorporate a lot of like the traditional foods along with American traditional foods. You know, we just so Thanksgiving, my grandmother will do two types of stuffing for the turkey. She would do more of like a bread stuffing, traditional bread stuffing, compare it to maybe stovetop or something. But she wouldn't buy stovetop.
Right.
But then she did a rice stuffing that had either ground beef or ground lamb in it and pine nuts. And it was very simple, but very flavorful. It was like chicken stock and butter and
Almost like a dirty rice, kind of.
but it was much simpler and it wasn't spicy. And that was just another stuffing for the turkey. But I think that came from like the Lebanese side.
Probably.
I can
Sounds
see it
like
with the rice and the
Yeah.
beef and all that.
Yeah, and you know, it's a lot of Italian cooking, obviously. Easter on my dad's side with some of the Polish homemade kielbasi. So I make homemade kielbasi every year after hunting season. Sometimes before. I'll make homemade Italian sausage, homemade kielbasi, pierogies, all that good, you know, kind of Polish food.
Oh, I can carry some pierogies
He likes
up.
pierogies a
Oh my
lot.
gosh, yeah, they're so good.
Man.
Yeah.
There's a
Dislike them. I just haven't had a lot.
what's that Polish meat market or what is it?
Jaworski's.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
up in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
He
And
makes
then,
all kinds of
that place is so
pierogies and lots of
Deli meat,
old school
stuff.
deli,
Yeah.
like
They
old
butcher
school
their own
meat
cows.
market deli.
Nice.
Just very, still to this day, very old school.
Stuffed cabbages to the Hilupki.
They
Yes.
call in their order to me. They don't email it in.
Yeah, they're still.
You need to mail them
old
an
school.
invoice and they mail you a check back. They that old school.
Wow.
But Mark is one of the. I met him through Matt Cole. You know Matt Cole,
Yeah.
that had Fathead Brewery and
Yep.
Peace, Love, and Smokiness Barbecue team.
Yeah.
Matt is a great guy. Was great brewmaster and all that. A head brewer.
Okay.
I mean, just really a lucky guy. I met him years ago and helped with their big restaurant menu right. But he introduced me to Mark up there. We went by there to get some meat and hogs from him to cook at that restaurant, and we started buying stuff from Mark and selling products.
So the last time we went there actually was when we came to yours and Mo's class at your brother's. When we drove up to Michigan.
Yeah.
On the way back, we stopped in Ohio. The plan was to see Matt, and we went to Jaworski's.
Nice.
Then that same trip
I brought
several pierogies home.
back.
Yes.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and
yeah.
made
Our
myself
lines.
sick eating pierogies.
There's some places in Philly that make the whole and kibasi and pierogies at Christmas time, or even Easter. There's lines, 100 people deep, waiting to get their food.
So go back to the Easter pizza that you mentioned. What is
Easter pizza was kind of a way to make a stuffed crust pizza and get rid of all your hard-boiled Easter eggs. So soppressata, which is like a hot or mild Italian cured sausage. Mm-hmm. The great uncles would, make that and hang it in their basements and cure it and dry it. And then you're lining your bottom crust. So say put your bottom crust in a round steel pan, almost like a pie crust. And you line it with sharp provolone and the soppressatas, spicy and mild, and then sliced hard-boiled eggs. And you just keep layering it, and then put a top dough on and bake it in the oven. And sometimes I'll do them more like a stromboli. There's different ways. And bake it in the oven, and they are delicious. They're so good. And that egg will grab all those flavors from the cured meats and the sharp provolone. It's delicious. We eat it for breakfast.
Sounds interesting. I've never had that.
So good.
I've never had anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How thick is the crust on that, on the top and bottom?
It's not real thick, but it's crispy. I try to make it on the thinner side.
Yeah.
You have to have some substance to it because the cured meats and the provolone will, they're a little greasy.
Yeah.
But I'll try to make them real thin. And it's delicious.
Different.
I'll make you guys one.
So do you have a traditional Christmas dinner, or do y'all cook lamb or prime rib? Or
I try to incorporate my venison backstraps. So I'll do venison backstraps. And then we do raviolis with either a vodka sauce.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh, so good. And my wife, Tammy's become really good at making vodka sauce.
It's always my favorite, and you can ask Heath anywhere. We've never made it homemade, but anywhere we go, if it's like a nicer Italian restaurant where they home make all of the stuff, I'm going to get that.
She's going to get that.
It's my favorite.
My son is a penne and vodka sauce guy. He loves that.
Mm-hmm.
She's that or manicotti. One of the two.
We love that too.
Well, you can't get manicotti a lot anymore. Well, at least not around here. A lot of the Italian, they just have the cannelloni.
But they don't have the
Or
manicotti.
whatever. It doesn't.
No, they have the manicotti.
They have whichever. I like the one with meat. Which is the one with meat?
Well, you can
cheese.
add meat to manicotti, right? Sometimes you'll get veal or
I think
lamb.
it's cannelloni that you get in it.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I like the one with the meat.
yeah, I make it, but there's also some very, very good small businesses up there that make everything homemade, and they just sell local stores, and it's hard to beat.
We have Gersani's here does that. They sell to some local stores and all that. And they have some really good dishes, too, like that on some of their pastas and things like that. And we're very fortunate enough to have some Mexican restaurants around here that sells their chips and their guacamole and cheese dips. And in the store locally, and it's better than what you would normally buy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not Arbo's cheese dip. I'm an Arbo's fan myself.
I am, too.
His white cheese dip to me is the mecca.
Yeah.
I mean, by far.
We're going to have to put that on a pizza. We'll make some kind of
cheesy,
fun Arbo's
make a cheese steak
dip
pizza.
Okay.
A cheesesteak pizza.
With the white one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So you were talking about other dishes that y'all do traditionally. What other dishes do y'all do traditionally?
On the Lebanese side, we do some people call them dolmas. I didn't grow up saying dolmas.
I love those.
The stuffed grape leaves.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just made those like a week and a half ago. And if I make those, I have to call my mom and tell her I'm making them. I can't just make them without a phone call because I feel bad. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of art that goes into that, though.
Yeah. Well, so my grandmother, my mother, I'm sure a lot of the, older women in the family that you guys knew, they would never write anything down.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's a handful of this. Oh, fill that up. Let me see. So I sat my mom down over the course of the last 2 years and had her make these recipes. And I'm like, all right, put that rice in that bowl right there, not that bowl. Okay, now stop. Let's get the scale out. I'm going to weigh this rice in grams. I'm going to write it down, and now we can go to the next ingredient. And that's what I had to do with my mom.
So with my grandmother, I'm the only one that can make her dressing, which is like our southern version of dressing. But she wasn't even willing. Well, she probably would have done that if I would have asked her to. But it was basically just one of those, okay, I'm going to come over and I'm going to write it down as we make it together because there was no recipe. And you should see I've never revamped it.
Yeah.
She's no longer with us or anything, and I've made it several years now. But I keep my very first writing of it, and Heath can tell you it literally makes no sense, really. It makes sense to me.
Sure.
But it's still not
Yeah.
measured out per se.
I have her make it. We make dressing a little different than a lot of people, though. We make enough at Thanksgiving that we freeze it and have more at Christmas.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Well, that's how she taught me to do it.
And freeze it, you know.
Right.
That's how I was taught to do it. She made it once a year, and she made enough for both.
Oh, wow.
So at Thanksgiving, or before, maybe a day or two before Thanksgiving, we would make it. But then, like he said, we went ahead and made enough for Christmas, and it goes in the freezer. And to be honest with you, the one that we eat at Christmas always tastes better.
No kidding.
Because I guess it's just had longer to
sure.
the flavors to mesh or whatever.
We actually have another pan because we didn't use it. You know, I think
I know.
somebody else was supposed to come into town, and we sealed it up.
Yeah, it's in the freezer.
And I put them in pans and put lids on them and foil all around them, then slide them in a vacuum bag and vacuum seal it in a half pan.
Got you.
And so when I cut it out, it's not freezer burned or anything like that.
Right.
You pull it out and
Yep.
let it defrost. And really the key to it is pouring some chicken broth or chicken stock on top of it and just popping it in the oven and letting it cook.
Yeah.
And when it's set good and got a crust on top, it's done. I mean, because you're really not cooking nothing but the eggs in there to set it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it like cornbread stuffing?
Yeah.
cornbread stuffing?
And I've done that before too, because I like to create different things. I'm like, even though I have my traditions, I like to try new things. So I've done like oyster cornbread stuffings. And, oh my God, they're so good.
You ever had duck dressing?
No.
I was at a gentleman's house one time, and we made duck dressing. He did, and I thought that was one of the best things to make with wild game, you know, the duck. Because most people would grill duck, make duck poppers, you know, stews, gravies, things like that with it, right, and serve it over rice. But the duck dressing was really, really good. That gentleman's no longer with us today. He's the one that got me into barbecue, Mr. Don Moody. And that was one of my best friends in school, his uncle. And
No kidding.
And Ben passed away now, too. He had a car incident. But, yep, Don Moody's the one that got me into barbecue.
Wow.
Little small town, Ashland, Mississippi.
Well, I'm going to have to try your duck dressing. I'll make you stuffed grape
dressing was
leaves
good.
and Easter pizza. You make me duck dressing.
The Easter pizza sounds kind of crazy.
I just want to know if the eggs are like different colors by that point. Are you talking about
Oh, yeah, because like
if you actually
been
dyed
dyed or
them?
whatever,
I mean, your
right?
kids aren't young
yeah.
anymore, so you're probably not dyeing Easter eggs like you did at one time.
well,
but
no, we still do.
do you?
Yeah, it's usually
But like I remember my mom.
They had them for you outside, right?
they're what?
They
Hide
had
them from
eggs
me.
for you, right?
Sometimes it would always be funny. Like I remember as a kid, we would have all these Easter eggs, and then they would get like deviled eggs would get made, and they'd be all different colors.
Yeah.
because the dye had gone.
I know,
to the
especially
white
if they
part.
crack when you're trying to dye them.
Yeah.
My grandmother would always take onion skins. She'd have one pot of sweet yellow onion skins and one pot of red onion skins, and that's how she would dye her eggs. And they would come out gorgeous. Be like these golden eggs from the yellow onion skins and these beautiful purple.
Did it pick up any hint of anything?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like flavor wise?
But she didn't use any artificial dyes.
No, she just used onion skins. That's it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they were gorgeous.
I used to hate that when my son was really little, and I know it's coming up. We'll have to do it with the baby, but that dye gets everywhere, all over tables. You cannot control it. You must be better off to go out in the yard and set a table up.
I know. So my brother Mark is 6 years younger than me. So I'm going to say when Mark was probably a little older than Collins, my mother put all the PAs, whatever they're called, tablets in the cups, and then was boiling water. And he went and picked every one up, thinking it was like a sweet tart, and ate them, chewed them up, ate them. So my mom calls like poison control, and they're like, it's not going to harm them.
Yeah.
You're just going to poop a rainbow of colors for about a week and a half. And he did. He was still in diapers, I think.
That would be pretty interesting.
I mean, it wasn't something I would share with people to see it, but yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
That is pretty wild. Wow. That's woo.
You just struck that memory.
Well,
Wow.
that made me a even wilder memory go off in my head. We had a dog when I was a kid that always ate smoke bombs.
Oh.
And it did the same thing to his poop.
Well,
Because, you know, those smoke bombs were would be a specific color.
Yeah.
And they would smoke that color. Well, for whatever reason, he was just wild. He would
Holy
eat
cow,
them.
that's a
and then his
iron stomach
poop
dog.
would be that color of the smoke bomb.
the Chesapeake Bay Retriever that Nicole and them had. Remember when we went over there one time for the hangout? I think they were bowling crawfish or something, maybe. And the dog loved to get in the charcoal and
He
eat
ate
charcoal
charcoal.
briquettes.
All the time.
He ate charcoal briquettes.
That's
What was
insane.
that dog's name? I always called him Brody, but that was not his name. That was the name I
He
gave
was a
him.
beast-looking dog.
He was a good dog.
I had
He's
a,
been gone
I had
for
a
a while.
Newfoundland when he was a baby. When I say baby, he was still 30 pounds. It was wintertime, I remember. He ate a whole box of Q-tips.
Oh, gosh.
And it was like really cold outside. And a week later, I decided to go out and pick up the poop. And there was a handle on every one of those. Q-tip handle sticking out of every one. They were frozen.
Like a Pez dispenser.
There's a popsicle with a Q-tip in it.
My
Well,
gosh.
well, look here. I have one more question to ask you.
All right.
Let's talk about. You just launched a new YouTube channel, correct?
Yes, I'm very excited about it.
Finally, we talked
Well,
Bob
here's
into
the-
getting a good
yes.
YouTube channel.
I had a YouTube channel through the company I was with for years and years and years. We built it up, had a great following, and I've been working on my social media and a lot with branding and all this. And I finally just said, you know what, I need a new YouTube channel, and it's a long time coming. You're right.
So tell me about what was your first video on there that you dropped?
Oh boy, I don't know. I think it was the bacon wrap ribs.
Bacon wrap ribs.
I'm pretty sure it was bacon wrap ribs.
Well, maybe here's some recent recipes. What about the St. Patrick's Day venison stew you done?
Oh yes,
'Cause I seen that myself and I thought, man, that looks really good.
it was really good. So I mean, I used Guinness, and I make a pastrami seasoning every year. And pastrami is what smoked corned beef, right? So there's no salt in the pastrami seasoning, but it's things like coriander and black pepper, heavy, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit, touch of brown sugar. And I just kind of keep it in a sealed container. And every March I whip it out, or February, and make pastrami's. So I'm like, I'll add some of that pastrami seasoning to it, add the Guinness. We did baby potatoes and I did venison. It was very, very good. It was rich and delicious. And then on a whim, I'm like, what am I going to eat this with? So I made beer bread. I made a Guinness beer bread. It was so easy. I mean, I just looked it up. I knew it was simple. It was like 7 ingredients. And whipped it up in a meatloaf pan and threw it in the oven. And it was a really good meal.
Wow.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested. Tell me about those grilled lemon garlic butter lamb burgers you done.
Yeah, they were good. So I'm a huge fan of lamb. And with the whole Mediterranean influence, I love feta cheese. I make homemade hummus.
Feta too.
There's a tabbouleh salad that my grandmother and my mother made that now my wife makes, which is bulgur wheat and parsley and a lot of lemon juice and a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. And, and then she adds a little chopped romaine to it. It's just a real fresh, lemony salad,
Sounds
some
good.
cherry tomatoes. So I'm like, the color, the flavor, everything would work on this. So I made these I ground some lamb chops up. And you can just buy ground lamb in the store, and made these burgers. And I grilled the little buns with, a little bit of butter right on the grill, put some hummus down, laid a lamb burger patty on there, and then some of the tabbouleh salad, which acts like your lettuce tomato, and then a little bit of crumbled feta cheese. And they were like packed with flavor. Delicious. And
That
it's
sounds really
something a little different, like a Greek burger.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to ask about this pastrami and mustard
Yeah,
pizza.
that sounds good too.
Yeah, that was another okay, what can I do for the St. Patty's Day holiday with a pizza and get people talking about it? And I've been playing around with this barbecue mustard that I'm trying to bring to market. So it's a mustard. It's like a yellow mustard, but it has some of my seasoning in it and a touch of my sauce, and it makes it unique. And I've been getting samples from my co-packer, and we're tweaking it. And I'm like, I got to use this for something. So I used it as a sauce. I used the mustard as a sauce. Then I laid down some mozzarella and I think Munster cheese, like creamy cheeses that'll play off of that vinegar, mustard. It'll kind of calm it down. And then I added pastrami, just thin sliced brisket pastrami. And I cooked up. It was real crispy, real thin. And, I thought, okay, it might be a little strong or overbearing. It was so good. It was good.
So how do you decide what recipes you're going to cook? Do you kind of read what people want to see, or do you just kind of whatever you want to make, or a little of both?
So I think like you guys, I'll look at times a year. I'll look at what are the foods coming out for the spring. I think about spring vegetables. I think about fall vegetables. I think about heavy versus light. I think about holidays,
right? Events,
and then I look at events. I look at trends, and then it usually happens to me like late at night, like when I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I gotta get my phone. I gotta put this in my notes. Because
so you just have a gigantic note section with all these ideas, like him, basically, and then eventually you'll get to them one day, all of them that are in there.
Section. Well, sometimes she makes, I don't want to say makes fun of me, but she's like, what are you doing? Because I'm making some notes.
Yeah.
I'm always taking notes of stuff. I have so many tabs of notes in my phone. And people's like, how do you keep up with that? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? And I don't know. I'm not trying to turn it into this, but that's how John D. Rockefeller remembered everybody and done everything.
Yeah.
And in order to keep up
he didn't
with
have a
things,
note section in his phone.
He didn't have a phone. He actually kept
that's what I'm saying, though. That's not.
He actually kept a handwritten notebook.
Okay, well, let's clarify.
Yeah.
Is what he done. But he would really got into the nuts and bolts of it, of your family and things like that, and asking about your wife or kids or things like that. And people you can relate to is honestly, that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will run stuff by my wife, my kids. What do you think of this idea? What do you think of that idea? And then I just like their outside perspective.
Yeah, she tells me I'm dumb all the time.
Well, yeah, I get that. I don't get that. I get that. I get that from my people, too.
Yeah, I think that's just a husband thing. We give each other 9 kinds of you know what all the time.
So I have my lists, and they're all based on all those things.
Yeah. And
then I have, like I know you have, I have pages and pages of product I want to bring to the market one day.
Right.
But then I'll sit on them,
I'm sitting on about 80 samples right now of products, and people don't believe that.
I believe it.
I've got
I believe that all those samples are in my garage.
And so when I see something in the market I'm ready to react to, it's not I can react pretty quick if I want to.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to scale these days,
right,
and what you want to tackle. And I have enough on my plate, so
So I'm the dreamer, and Tammy's the business, realistic, and we work really well together. So I'll say, I want to come out with this. And I told you about one of them yesterday. And I just think it's going to be incredible. Let's sell what we have. Let's work on what we have and get that to the market, and then we'll talk about this.
That's right.
And she's very smart in saying that, but I'm like the dreamer. I want to get it. I want to play. I want to create. I want to get it out there. I want to do videos with it, and well, I know there's a balance.
Talking about videos, what can people see coming up from you on your new YouTube channel?
Okay, so on my YouTube channel, it's going to be a blend of things, right? Obviously, it's going to be cooking, but it's going to be indoor cooking. It's going to be outdoor cooking. It's going to be live fire cooking. It's going to be smoking, grilling, fish, pizza ovens, Santa Maria grills, flames, olive oil, pecorino romano, and barbecue sauce.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know I'm already subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Thank you. I appreciate
We're
that.
good friends and all that.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you have for Bob?
No.
No.
Well, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you at and your new cooking channel? How do they find you on your
Absolutely.
New YouTube
So on YouTube, I'm Cooking with Bobby T. So just go onto YouTube, type in Cooking with Bobby T. You'll find my stuff. I'm building up right now. There's probably only 30 videos or so on there, but
that's a lot, though.
I'm trying to put up 5 every week.
That's a lot.
I know. I'm working my butt off trying to do it. And then my website is bobtrudnakbarbecue.com. And you can catch my classes at the BobandMoBarbecueShow.com. And we teach classes around the world. We got one coming up in the Upper Peninsula, and we're working on one in California. And, yeah, that's
Just
pretty
had
fun.
one in Atlanta.
Always hustling.
Always hustling.
Always. Well, y'all heard it here first. Always a good time hanging out with our good friend Bob.
Thank you.
And always love these heartfelt conversations, learning more about cooking.
Absolutely.
Because I learn something new every time we talk about it or cook together.
Yeah, absolutely. So do I. And
That's
thanks
it.
for saying my name correctly.
No problem. You know, I practice that a lot.
I'm sure you have in front of the mirror.
Did. We'll see y'all next week on another episode of Shootin The Que.
If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels. Leave us a review if you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep shooting the Que.